Good to see you. Finally, someone useful is around.
Good to see you too, Jarl Siddgeir. It's nice to be appreciated for what I do around here, you know? But enough of this gay banter. I'm here to deliver my report into the safety of mines. The mines, my Jarl, are not safe. Not safe at all. But they're probably a bit safer now that I've slain every single bandit who is inhabiting them. And... Is that it? Sorry, Hragnette, it's just that I was expecting a written report, or perhaps a video shared on YouTube. Well, I thought in this case, since brevity is the soul of wit, it might be the soul of reports into mine safety as well. Yes, I'm sure it is. Why don't you toddle off and make yourself useful somewhere else while I think about how I'm going to hire some new bandits to occupy all my mines.
Come and see me again sometime. I might have some use for you.
I do believe we've just been brushed off. That could definitely have gone better. Although, to be fair, it could also definitely have gone worse. Well, Hragnette's orders for today are to make herself useful, whatever that means. It's raining a little, so probably best to get this on. Look at that. Timeless style. Goat. I suppose as far as making oneself useful goes, we could do a lot worse than getting rid of the dead cow. Excuse us.
Everything all right?
Aye, everything's fine. I'm just removing a dead cow from the streets before the cart gets at it.
Falkreath was once full of wanderers and warriors like yourself. Those were better days.
Fascinating. This is a very heavy cow. It doesn't help that the road's made of some sort of selective quicksand, which admits only cows.
What are you doing that for?
Because you, Siddgeir, that's why. Oh, you're walking all over it.
Stay out of trouble, Lord. Skyrim's history of war is well documented here in Falkreath's graveyard.
Anything interesting in terms of burials lately? I'm so cheesed off with this cow, I'd rather distract myself talking about anything.
Well, Falkreath is known for its graveyard, traveler. We've buried more dead than you can imagine. I just finished giving my old war companion Barrett a proper burial by fire. Old Hardhead hated the idea of being lost cold in the ground. Could you deliver the ashes to Runil, the priest of Arkay? He'll know the right blessings to make for Barrett's soul.
All right. I'll run it over to him once I've finished with the cow.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Until next time.
Well, when it comes to making ourselves useful, I think me and Hragnette are starting off on the right foot.
Falkreath was once full of wanderers and warriors like yourself.
He's clearly enjoying
Those
himself,
were better
so...
days.
The cow... The cow... If I could just...
Skyrim's history of war is well documented.
If I could
here in
just get...
Falkreath's graveyard.
Looks like it's this end of the cow that's stuck. The head and front legs are fairly free to move. One does wonder how it's going to be possible to get it out through the gate. Now here's a thought. If you can't move the cow, why not simply get the cow to move? There we are. One undead cow ready for action. I said ready for action. Yes, that's it. Right this way, cow. Right this way. Keep moving. Or should I say, keep moving. Just get you a safe distance away from Falkreath and off the road if you'd care to step this way. We can let this be the cow graveyard. Can't believe it, there's another one up here. What has been going on in these hills? Could the Minotaurs have been... I get the sense they wouldn't be in an urgent hurry to do anything nasty to cows. It'd be like a human murdering a dog. Generally frowned upon, unless in self-defense. Shouldn't be too long until the spell wears off in any case. And this undead cow will breathe its last, again. A safe distance from town, among the bones of its brethren and sistren. Ah, there we go. Well, now that the cattle cadaver incident has been resolved, we need to run these over to Runil, who I believe lives somewhere in Falkreath. In the part of Falkreath that's known for having Runil live there. Can't be too hard to find him, given that the city only has about 10 buildings. This looks to be about right. The 2 shrines to Arkay are a pretty sure sign that a priest of Arkay lives here. That, or someone with an unusual habit for collecting shrines.
Huh?
Hello, my child. Arkay watch over you.
And over you, I'm sure. I have a delivery here, the ashes of one Berit, courtesy of Siddgeir from up in town.
Ah, Berit's ashes. He was a good man. Not many warriors grow to a fine old age. Thank you for bringing this to me. I'll make sure he gets his rights. Here, for your trouble.
Much appreciated. So, do you tend this graveyard all by yourself? I realize that might be a silly question to ask, considering you have 2 other people in your house, but I'm curious.
Oh, merciful Arkay, no. I'm too old and frail, and this graveyard is too large. Kust is my assistant. He helps me tend the headstones and keep our cemetery clean, as befits a place of rest. I came into Arkay's light after the Great War. So many died by my hands, my magics. I'm fortunate that Kust and the people of Falkreath have come to accept me as one of their own. Could you do an old elf a favor? I misplaced my journal in a cave I was exploring. I'll pay for its return.
Your diary from a cave? Well, I am under instruction to make myself useful, so I suppose I could have a look for it.
Blessing of Arkay to you for your help. That journal means a lot to me, if you find it.
Everyone around here seems to want help with something. Although to be fair, from a game design perspective, if the townsfolk didn't want help with everything, there'd be much less for the player to do. Where is this Brittleshin Pass place, anyway? Just north of Lake Illanalta. Ah, I get the sense North Brittleshin Pass might be north of South Brittleshin Pass. Or somewhere within the vicinity of it, anyway. Shouldn't be too hard. Make myself useful. Make myself useful. Honestly, the nerve of the man. Brittleshin Pass, if I remember correctly, should be just along here. It's a simple matter of following the cairns with flappy things on them. Might just grab a snowberry first. And now... Well, this is interesting. It only looked like a cave from out there, but this is clearly built by human hands. Or someone else's. Get this nice-looking suit of armor on. There we go. She's ready for anything. Anything, that is, except frost runes on the floor. Never mind, we'll pick mushrooms and regroup in the doorway. With a crossbow. It should be possible to... Said it should be possible to... Well, it should at least be possible to get the bolts back if they've bounced anywhere nearby. Crossbow bolts? Crossbow bolts? Well, that was less painful than I was expecting. Any more skeletons? Any more of you chaps around, waiting to cause trouble? Fly Amanita, that's something. Nice bit of mushroom to use in alchemy if necessary. Looks like this passage caved in. This may once have been an altar of some sort. This is another patch of Fly Amanita mushrooms. And that's an obvious trap. But if that's going to come down there, we should be fine on this side. The question does occur now, what exactly was Runil doing down in a place like this? Could be that he was trying to pacify some of the undead, being as he... That's probably enough speculation. Now, if you'd care to step this way, sirs, I'll introduce you to my scroll of... to my dire wolf. Hragnette's dire wolf. Ah, freshly harvested bone meal. The overhunting of skeletons for bone meal has been a problem in recent years. But if you ask me, skeletons deserve it. Perfect, there we go. One necromancer adept, more or less dealt with. And a staff of ice spikes. That could come in handy for one or two purposes. It looks like he's established a little shrine here. Black soul gems? No one really likes having to handle these things, but they're probably better off with Hragnette being sold to somebody who can dispose of them responsibly. Yes, someone who can dispose of them responsibly after buying them off you for 100 septims each. Was there a...
Do you mind keeping that closed?
What? You want me to keep the cage closed?
Why, yes. It's quite comfortable in here. But when it's open, there's a bit of a draft.
Draft? A bit of a draft? There's a bit of a... I do believe you're being sarcastic to me now. But alright, I'll leave you in there if you like.
Oh my, aren't we the testy one? Not the gallant and flappable hero I imagined.
Oh, expecting someone more dashing, were you? Love that accent, by the way. It sounds very natural.
Ah, that's the word, isn't it? A dashing prince for us ladies to swoon over and then fight over. I think we should prefer our men less dashing, as they dash off to the next girl while we're busy pulling our hair.
Aye, I hate it when that happens. So just to be clear, you do want to come out of the cage?
Maybe. I'd grown quite fond of it. The iron bars, the pattern of squares, and... well, I guess that's it. But I do like squares.
She likes squares, God bless her. I don't know how to
Yes,
roleplay
Zora
this
Fair-Child.
interaction.
Although it was never meant to be ironic. I was once very much a child, and very much fair. So fair, in fact, that the divine saw it fit to punish me with the smart and unviable face. It's always easier to blame the gods for such things, isn't it?
Suppose so. I noticed the, handprint. Is that war paint?
Now don't make things awkward. I am more than comfortable with my own burned skin. It is burned after all. I've tried washing it to no avail. But it hides the scars. That's a good thing. Now, I wasn't always comfortable with it, but living in a cage tends to alter your perspective.
Sure, Bones, I'm sorry something like that had to happen to you. Well, do you want to come along? I have a little bit of work to do in Brittleshin Pass, and then I'll be heading back to Falkreath.
You have my steel.
I'm Hragnette, a Brighthelm, by the way. And, I have no idea how to pick locks. That's going to make this a little bit difficult.
I must admit I have a soft spot in my heart for a warrior.
If you'd care to stand there for a bit, ma'am, I'll just give you a free sample of crossbow bolts. So, hopefully there's going to be a key for this. Hopefully there's going to be a key for this thingy. I didn't actually know Zora Fair-Child was down here. Got the diary in there at least, and a Welkin stone, but the key? How are we going to get her out? Quite a few too many red dots up at the top of the screen there. I don't think it's in any way safe or advisable to go down there and look for the key. Here's a thought now, here's a thought. It's a long shot, Zora, but why don't you take this wooden bowl and phase through the door to the cage? It's counterintuitive, I know, but I promise you it works. The wooden bowl worked, somehow. Zora is out of the cage and ready to help Hragnette take on the undead hordes. Well, ladies first. Zora? Oh, fine. All right, Ms. Fairchild, why don't we just take a stroll back this way, away from the terrifying undead hordes, away from this necromancer's interior decorating skills, and back to nice, friendly, safe, friendly Falkreath. Falkreath is just back this way, past the lake, then along the road, and down south and along the other road and up north again, a bit. What do you think, Zora? Should we walk to Falkreath or swim there? I think we'll walk.
So, will my lord be hunting game for dinner tonight? Or will he take his companion to the inn for a more sensible feast? Just a question.
Yes, I know, yes, and quite an unusual question. What on earth's Lord supposed to mean? I know Hragnette may not exactly be the picture of frilly pink femininity, but she isn't a lord. You aren't, are you, Hragnette? I don't mean to presume. A lord, me? No, I'm not nobility. I'm also a fairly standard issue cisgender woman. What do you think of this clay deposit then, Miss Fairchild? Nice and clayey and deposity. Shaped rather like a clay deposit. We are going to have to get wet for a little bit now as we swim across this section of the river.
I've been hunting and fishing in these parts for years.
And here we are again, back in Excuse Me, Tekla. And here we are again, back in sunny Falkreath.
Thank you, sir.
Now let's see if I can remember where Runil lived. Ah, yes, over here, past the farm, where they have the cow. She seems healthy enough for a cow, content to stand there, nibbling at her hay, and occasionally turn around, and occasionally leave free fertilizer, I suppose is the polite way of putting it. She seems healthy enough for a cow, but in this day and age you really can't be too careful. I'd suggest keeping her under armed guards all day and all night.
Murdered the High King. With his voice, shouted him apart.
Fascinating.
Gust is responsible for the cemetery here in Falkreath. I take care of the shrine.
I retrieved your journal, Runil, and also a woman with a handprint on her face named Zora Fair-Child. Did you know she was down there? Is that why you sent me, perhaps? Because you knew I could... Well, I was able to get her free, as you can see, but I wish you would have told me the full story with the necromancer and the skeletons, and the 50,000 zombies or so down there, and the... Anyway, here is your diary.
Thank you. It's a collection of regrets that I try not to forget. Here, I promised you this.
And that is good payment for fetching a diary, although quite richly deserved when you consider the number of zombies.
Don't waste it.
Two side quests and a cow disposed of is probably enough, making oneself useful for one day. Suppose now might be a time to get to know Zora a little better.
Remember, a good leader is brave but not reckless, firm but not rigid.
None of these are particularly sensitive questions to ask, but I suppose I shall broach the subject of the necromancer. Say, just out of curiosity, was it the necromancer that kidnapped you who ended up burning your face and covering it in paint like that?
Oh no, necromancers tend to disapprove of having their specimens damaged. I should know. This is the 11th necromancer who's enslaved me, and all 11 have been as delicate as a lord with his finest furs. It makes me so sad.
11? Sure, that can't be right. Zora, what have you been...
was quite excited with his find until he...
What have they been... What's happened to you, Zora?
I've seen that look on more than enough men to recognize it.
You've been kidnapped by necromancers 11 times? Surely that can't be true.
Oh, I am. I do enjoy it. There is never a shortage of wizards who like to use this pass as their lair, nor a shortage of heroes who travel through it.
No shortage? My head is spinning here, Miss Fair-Child. What on earth kind of hero could you possibly have been waiting for that was worth doing it 11 times?
Handsome but not cute. Funny but not mean. Tender but not soft. Strong but not violent. Caring but not servile. I could go on and on.
I'm sure she could go on, but should she? Should you, Zora Fair-Child? Should you go on and on? Should you go on and on? She's going on and on. She's doing it, isn't she? She's going on and on.
And most of all, confident, but not arrogant. The best I ever knew was 4 of those things, but he failed the arrogance test. He didn't just cross the border between confidence and arrogance. He rode through on a gilded carriage pulled by frenzied mammoths.
So let me get this straight, Zora. You pose as... You allow necromancers to capture you so you can pick up blokes? That's, goodbye.
I'll be home if you need me.
See you soon. It takes all sorts to make a world, doesn't it? All sorts of strange, reckless, potentially self-destructive behavior. That's a nice path texture. I love the cracks and the little stones. They almost seem to pop right up out of the ground. Very, very nice. So what's your game? You leaning on the fence like that?
Falkreath is a hard place, and tending a farm here is thankless work.
Sorry to hear it.
All right, then.
She's going to walk all the way back to Brittleshin Pass and lock herself in the cage again, isn't she?